Welcome back. The owners of a Toronto home linked to accused killer Bruce McArthur have been allowed to return for the first time in 2 weeks. Police escorted them in and out while they collected a few personal items. CTV's Austin Delaney has the latest in the ongoing investigation.
Toronto police brought in 2 portable generators with large diesel reserve tanks this morning to the Mallory Crescent scene. The heaters inside the tent thawing the ground have been using so much fuel. Since the tent went up, police have been bringing portable jerry cans, but the need for fuel in these frigid temperatures is overwhelming. Bruce McArthur used this property to store landscaping tools. Police have found the remains of 3 men inside planters on the property and believe there are more bodies buried in the ground under the tent. The 66-year-old man is charged with the murders of these 5 men whose remains have not yet been found. The Mallory Crescent property is the home of Ron Smith and Karen Fraser, who yesterday were allowed back in their home for the first time since McArthur's arrest January 18th, and police arrived with a search warrant.
Yes, we're doing all right. We're still vertical and we're fine. Other people aren't.
McArthur, now an accused serial killer, took care of their yard in exchange for storage space.
How have you handled this?
Day by day, moment by moment.
It will be at least another 2 weeks before investigators will release the property back to the owners.
New evidence is exposing the scope of a conspiracy to raise the price of bread. Documents reveal 7 companies worked together to scam consumers for more than a decade, and not just sliced bread, but also buns, bagels, English muffins, and tortillas.
Canadian consumers got an eye-opening look at the prices they've been paying at grocery stores inside these court documents. Canada's Competition Bureau alleging some of the industry's biggest players were fixing the retail price of the bread you buy.
It definitely bothers me. There shouldn't be like some sort of monopoly.
The Competition Bureau alleges 2 bread wholesalers, Canada Bread and Weston Bakeries, agreed to increase their prices on bread and other baked goods over a 14-year stretch. Also alleging 5 big grocery stores were part of the scheme: Loblaws, Sobeys, Metro, Walmart Canada, and Giant Tiger. Canadians spend billions of dollars on bread every year, so even small price hikes add up. According to the Competition Bureau, 10-cent annual hikes by those involved. Loblaw and its parent company, George Weston, came forward in December cooperating with the Competition Bureau and offering consumers $25 gift cards.
We have admitted our role, and you cannot price fix alone.
Both Sobeys and Metro said in statements they found no evidence of violating the Competition Act. Canada Bread said it's actively investigating. The news prompting some to wonder if price fixing extends to other aisles.
There are other places in the grocery store where you can find a similar scenario. And so is there collusion there as well?
Given it's a criminal investigation, the Competition Bureau's former commissioner tells CTV News the price could be steep.
Loblaws and Weston are off the hook because they've agreed that they would please, so they get immunity. But everybody else who is ultimately charged, and if convicted, does face both fines and, in the case of individuals, in addition, potential for imprisonment.
As for how long this battle may last, the responses from some of the alleged price fixers would suggest that they're ready for a potentially long legal fight.
Breaking news from Washington, where the White House has approved the release of a controversial Republican memo tied to the Russia investigation. The memo is set to accuse the FBI of abusing its surveillance powers to target the Trump campaign. We get the latest from ABC's Lena Zak.
President Trump has declassified a controversial House intelligence memo and has approved of its release by the committee without redactions.
A lot of people should be ashamed of themselves, and much worse than that. So I sent it over to Congress. They will do what they're going to do. Whatever they do is fine. It was declassified, and let's see what happens.
The classified memo was written by Republicans on the House Intelligence Committee chaired by Congressman Devin Nunes, an ally of the president who served on his transition team. Democrats on the committee say the memo cherry-picks information in an attempt to discredit the special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian interference. And even the president's FBI director, Christopher Wray, says the memo has serious problems, citing his grave concerns about material omissions and the memo's accuracy. Former FBI director James Comey tweeted his support for the agency, saying American history shows that in the long run, weasels and liars never hold the field, so long as good people stand up. And there is now another Republican senator who is publicly siding with the FBI.
There's no FBI director that hasn't faced undue political pressure. I think he's handling the pressure well.
It is unclear when exactly the memo will be released. Democrats had asked that their own memo, which they say undermines the credibility of the Republican written one, be released simultaneously, but that request was denied in a committee vote. Lana Zak, ABC News, Washington.
At least 5 people were shot when clashes erupted between migrants in the French port city of Calais. The brawl broke out between several groups of migrants while they were lining up for food. More than 20 people were injured. Police have called in reinforcements amid warnings of more potential violence. It's Groundhog Day today, and as always, the big question is, will spring arrive early or will it be a long wait? It depends on which furry forecaster you believe.
The colors are green. That's his shadow he did not see. It means we will get an early spring.
Nova Scotia's famed Shubenacadie Sam did not see his shadow when he waddled out of his pen. According to folklore, that means an early spring. But Ontario's Wyerton Willie wasn't on the same page. He apparently did see his shadow.
I see my royal shadow. 6 more weeks of winter to go.
And the most famous furry prognosticator in the U.S. does not see an early end to winter. Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow, prompting jeers and frowns from the crowd in minus 12-degree weather. We're going to take a quick break right now, but stay with us. The Health Report is up next.